Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to do a landing page clone of the Tesla website with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. In the previous video, we have done the SpaceX landing page clone. In case if you have missed it, you can check that out. I will put the link on the description and on the cards. So in this video, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the clone of the Tesla website. So let me give you a quick demo. You can preview this website by yourself by visiting this link. I will put the link on the description. So go to this link. You will see that it is a full page website. That means it has a section, and that section is containing the full height and width of the page. It has a background image taking full height width. Also, it has some title, subtitle, and 2 action buttons. And if I scroll down a bit, you can see the next section, which is similar to the previous one, snaps to the top when we just scroll it. Let's scroll more. You can see the next section snapped to the top. And if I scroll down in the middle of 2 sections, you can see that immediately the next section take the full screen. Okay, that's really cool. This snapping effect is achieved by FullpageJS. I will show you what that is. It's pretty easy to do. And if I keep scrolling down, on the bottom you can see our footer, and on the top we have our header. Our header has 3 parts: our logo, our header middle navigation, and also header right section. And here is a link called menu. If I click on it, you can see a right navigation slides in to the view, and also you can see it has a background blur. It looks really good. And if I close it, you can see the navigation slides out. So that is really cool. And also this website is totally mobile responsive. Let's open up the DevTools and let's just go to the mobile view. You can see it is looking pretty good on the mobile screen size. Let's just change the mobile device: iPhone 6, then Galaxy Fold, iPad Pro. It is looking totally good on every single devices. Okay. We're going to use modern CSS like CSS position, CSS grid system, flexbox, then JavaScript DOM manipulations, and so on. So you're going to learn a lot from this video. This is a very good project to brush up your front-end skills. So if you are interested about this project, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel to see more of these project-based videos. And also, it really motivates me to create content just like this. Alright, so enough talking. Let's start the coding. Alright, so let me give you a quick introduction of mine. My name is Sanjan. I'm a full stack developer slash blogger slash YouTuber slash I don't know. I love to share my knowledge, so I write blog posts on Q's coding website and create videos on YouTube just for you guys. I mostly work on MERN stack. I can develop complex web application like social media application, blogging website, e-commerce platform, and so on. You can see my projects by going to my website and then go to projects. You can see all of the projects that I have worked on. I'm looking for a job. So if you are a recruiter or someone who needs a new team member who can solve problems, can develop real life applications, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, or you can just send me an email. My email is thatonjon@gmail.com, and obviously all of the links are going to be on the description. And also I'm open to talking about freelance work. So if you are a businessman or you need some kind of website for your business or anything like that, just feel free to contact me and we can work that out. Alright, so enough of my introduction. Let's go straight to the tutorial. Alright guys, so I have this basic setup, this basic HTML, and inside the project we have a CSS directory where we will store our CSS files. We have a reset.css file already. I will show you in a minute. I have a JS directory, empty, and we have a media directory where all of the media files, all of the section images, and close icon SVG Tesla logo is stored. Obviously, all of them will be on my GitHub repository. Just follow the link on the description and make sure you give it a star. And you can also follow me on GitHub. So the CSS reset file has been linked with our HTML file. If I just show you, we have imported the Montserrat font from Google, even though Tesla doesn't use Montserrat font. And we have reset the basic styles, padding 0, margin 0, box sizing border box. And we have made the font size of the HTML to 62.5%, and this makes one rem into 10 pixel so that we can use rem easily. and we have body, and we have reset the font family with Montserrat, max width of 100 view width, overflow X to hidden, so that our web page doesn't have any kind of horizontal scrolling. And then some basic stuff, you don't need to care about it. So that's it for the reset file. And this is our web page looks like. And another thing that is, we're going to make this web page with mobile first approach. We're going to create the web page for mobile devices first, then we will make the web page responsive for other larger size devices. First, we're going to create all of this section, the background image, this titles, these 2 buttons, and also the snapping effect. And we're not going to implement the snapping effect from scratch. We're going to use a library called FullpageJS. Now, FullpageJS is not free. You have to pay for it. But if you are doing any open source work, that's completely fine. You can use it for free. Now, to use FullpageJS, you can install it with npm or yarn if you are doing any serious kind of project. But we're going to do a simple project, so we can use just CDN. And this is CDN.js website. Just look for FullpageJS. You can also find this link on Fullpage GitHub repository. We are going to use version 3.1.2 and just copy the fullpage.main.js script tag and paste it inside the body tag, and then just copy where it is, fullpage.main.css, and paste it in the head. Okay, so now we can work on our sections. First of all, we need to create a container with an ID of full page. So section dot, sorry, not dot, hash full page. It should be lowercase p. Now inside the container, there will be 7 more sections. So section, and it will have a class of section. And each of these section will contain the content, this image, this title, subtitle, buttons, everything. Okay, this will take the full height and width of the screen, and that's gonna make it full page. I need 7 of these sections, so I will copy this 6 more times. Now each of these section will have a unique class name to separate them from each other. So first one will have class of 1, second one will have class of 2, then third one will have class of 3, not there, 3. And this will be 4. This will be 5. This will be 7. And this will be 6. Okay, so these are our section, and all we need to do is just style them. So let's create a new file on the CSS directory called section.css. So let's select the section. So .section. Now we're going to attach a background image to all of this section, but each of the section will have different images. So I'm not going to add the background image in the section selector. I'm going to add background image separately. So let's first select the section 1. So section, which will have a class of 1, will have a background image. And let's give the URL function. And the image is inside the media directory. So we have to go one step back, then media, then 1.avif. And I will copy this for 6 more times. And section 2 will have image 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, and we don't see anything because I have to attach that in my HTML. Let's copy this line and section.css. Still nothing. Okay, so maybe I have to add some styles to the section. Let's give it a height of 100 view height, then width of 100%. Then let's make background repeat to no repeat. Then background size to cover. Background position to center. And here is our images. Okay, but we don't have the snapping effect because we have to add some JavaScript. I will create another file in the JS directory, index.js. We need to create a new instance of full page constructor. So new full page. Now we have access of full page because we have added the CDN. Now as the first parameter, we have to pass the container, the main container that containing all of this section. So you can see it has an ID of full page. So we have to pass the selector here, hash full page. And for the second parameter, we have to pass an object. We have to make it auto scrolling to true and scroll bar to true. And I don't know if I have added the file or not. Haven't. So let's add the script.js file. Sorry, index.js file. So script index.js. Now everything should work. Okay, so now let's scroll. It's not working. Oops, it should be js/index.js. Now it should work. Oops, we have an error. Full page is not defined. Oops, it should be lowercase p. Okay, so now let's scroll. Okay, so you can see the snapping effect, right? Let's just remove the div tool. Now let's scroll. Okay, you can see the snapping effect. That's really cool. Okay, so our full page is really working. Actually, let's go to section.css. We don't need to give the height and width to the section. It will be provided automatically by FullpageJS. And this still works. And now we can create the content. This content, then two buttons. Okay. So let's just go to the section 1 and let's create a container with class of section content, and there will be a title with the h1 tag, h1 with a class of section content title, and the text will be model s. I will copy this line, and we need a subtitle, so this will be h2, and instead of title it will be subtitle, and the text will be order online for. You can see the subtitle also has a link, touchless delivery, so I need to add an anchor tag, and the text will be touchless delivery. And the section content will be similar to every single section, so I'm just gonna copy paste them on every section, and also I will change the content. You don't have to watch me do this. Alright, so I have added section content to every single section, and also I have changed their content. Every section is similar except the last one, it doesn't have any subtitle. So let's see what we have. Alright, so this is what we have. Let's style them. It is looking terrible. So let's go to the bottom of the page. Let's select the container first. So section, content. Let's make it position absolute. Top will be 20%. Left will be 50%. And we need to make it center, so we need to use transform. Transform, translate x, and the value will be -50%. Okay, so now width will be 100%. Then text align will be center. Then text transform to capitalize. Now we need to change the color of the text, but I'm gonna store it in a variable so that we can reuse it. If you don't know about CSS variables, I have written an entire blog about it. You can check that out. I'll put the link on the description. So I'm just going to create a new file in the CSS directory, variable.css. Let's select the root, and I will create two variables. So first variable will be primary color, and the value will be an hex code with 181B21. And the secondary color variable, it will also be a hex value 5C5D61. Let's go to index.html file and add the variable CSS file. I'll copy this line. Instead of reset, it will be variable. Let's go to section.css. Let's add color var, and we are going to use the primary color variable. So dash primary color. Now let's select the title. So section content title. Font size will be 4 rem. Font weight will be bold. Margin bottom will be 0.5 rem. Let's select the subtitle. I'll copy this line. And let's add font size 1.5 rem. Font weight will be 500. Oops, I need to change the class to subtitle. Okay, now let's select the anchor tag, this link. Let's just copy this line and select the anchor tag inside the subtitle and add color to inherit. Okay, so our link is now same color as our subtitle. Now let's add a hover effect. When we will hover over the link, it should have a underline. So I will copy this line. So let's add a pseudo selector hover and add text decoration to underline. And you can see we have the hover effect. Now let's add these two action buttons very quickly. So inside the section 1, after the section content, let's create a container, section action container. Let's create an anchor tag with class of section action btn for button. Text will be custom order. I will copy this line, and in the second button we'll have text of existing inventory. Now these two buttons are totally same except they are colors. So this will be our primary button and this will be the secondary button. So on the first anchor tag, I will attach another class, action btn primary. I'll copy this and paste it again, and this time it will be secondary. And I will copy this action container to every single section. You don't have to watch me do this. Alright, so I have added action container to every single section, and also I have changed their content a bit for section 5, 6, 7. Section 5 primary button content will be order now, and secondary button content will be learn more. Same for the section 6, and the section 7 will have only one primary button, no secondary button, and the text will be shop now. So let's see what we have, and this is what we have, these small links, these two tiny little links. So let's style them and make them look like as a button. So let's select section action container, section underscore action container. Let's make it position absolute, bottom 15%, left 50%. Let's move them to the center. Transform, translate x will be negative 50%, width will be 100%, text align will be center, and let's make the container display flex, then flex wrap, so that we can have buttons vertically. So value will be wrap, then justify content to center to make the items align horizontally at the center. Now let's select the links. and it has a class of, let me see, section action button. So let's select that. Let's give it a font size of 1.5 rem. Font weight will be 500. Then padding will be 1 rem. Border radius will be 2 rem. Let's add a temporary background of red. Let's add flex spaces, and flex spaces is equivalent to width, but this is just more flexbox way. It will have value of 80% so that every single row has only one column. And let's give it a margin bottom of 1 rem. Now let's select the primary button. So I will copy this line and let's select the class. Let's add a background color, and the value will be RGBA for red, green, blue, and alpha for transparency. Value will be 23, 26, 32, and for transparency it will be 0.8, and the color would be white. And let's just remove the background color here, and let's style the secondary button, and it will be secondary. Again, I'm gonna use RGBA value. It will be white but with opacity, so 255, 255, and for alpha it will be 0.65, and the font color would be primary color. So I will just, where it was, so I'll just copy this line and paste it here, and we have our button ready, but I have missed something. Let's make the text capitalize. Text transform, capitalize. Okay, so we have our buttons ready. You can see they're looking pretty good. Alright, so now we can work on our header. Now the header have 3 sections. On the left hand side we have our logo, on the middle we have some header navigation links, and on the right hand side we have 3 more links. One of them link is menu. If I click on it, right navigation slides in, and I can also close it. But all of them will not be seen on small screen sizes. That will look terrible. So on small screen sizes, let me decrease the size. So on small screen sizes, there will be only the logo and the menu link on the right hand side. The header middle navigation links will not be visible until we hit the LG screen size, which will start from 1200 pixels. So for now we can just think of it like 2 sections, left hand side and the right hand side. Okay, so let's create that. Okay, so above the full page section, I'm gonna create a header. So header.header class. Now, like I've said, header will have 3 parts: header left, middle, and the right. So header left will be an anchor tag containing our logo. So a.header left, and it will have an image with the class of header logo, and the source will be media/Tesla logo.svg. I'm not using PNG, and there will be an unordered list with class of header middle. Now I'm not gonna add the links right now. Later I will add them. Let's add another container, header __ right. Now there will be 3 link with class of header nav btn. href will be $, and there will be 3 link. So the first link will be shop, and the second link will be account, and the third link will be menu. Now all of this icon will be hidden for small screen sizes except the last one. So I will attach another class which will be called menu btn, and Prettier has just formatted the code for me. If you want to learn how to set up ESLint and Prettier, I have a video on it. You can check that out. I'll put the link on the description. Okay, so here is our header. It is looking terrible. So let's create another CSS file, header.css, and let's just attach it to our HTML file. I'll copy this line. It will be header header.css. Let's go to header.css. Let's select the header class. Let's give it a height of 5 rem. Position fixed. Top will be 0. Left will be 0. And width will be 100%. Let's give it a z index of 5 so that we can see the header logo is looking too big. And to see actual header, let's give it a background color of teal. Now let's make it display flex and justify content to space between. Let's select the header middle. So header underscore middle. Let's make it display none for now. We will add the styles later. Let's select the header left. Display will be block. Overflow will be hidden. Let's give it a padding of 0 for top and bottom, 2 rem for left and right. Let's select the header logo, the image tag. So header, not left, logo. Height will be 100% and the width will be 13 rem. And let's just delete the background color. Okay, so our logo is looking pretty good. Now let's style the header right. So header right. Actually, let's just style the button first. So let's select header underscore nav btn. Let's make it display none. But if it has a menu button class, then it will be shown. So add menu btn and display will be inline block. And now we can only see the menu link or menu button, you can say. Let's style the button. Font size will be 1.4 rem. Font weight will be bold. Padding 1 rem. Color will be secondary color, the variable that we have added. So var secondary color. Border radius will be 1.5 rem. Then text transform, capitalize. Okay, so our button is looking good. Let's add a hover effect. I will copy this line. Let's add hover pseudo selector. When we will hover over the link, it will have a background property. So background. And the color will be a hex value. I will just paste it. And now we can see the hover effect, but it is too harsh. So we need to add a transition to it. So transition will be background and duration will be 0.3 second. And type will be linear. And now the hover effect is smooth. Now let's style the header right. So let's give it margin of auto for top and bottom and 0 for left and right to make them center vertically, and margin right to move it to the left 1 rem. Okay, so our header is looking pretty good. And now let's add the right navigation. So under the header, let's add a nav tag with navigation class. So nav.navigation. Now we can divide our navigation, right navigation actually, into 2 parts. First part will hold the cross icon and the second part will contain the list. So let's create a container with a class of close button, btn container. It will have an image tag with class of navigation close btn, and the source will be media / close icon.svg. And now we need to add another unordered list. with 17 li, and every single li would have a anchor tag with class of nav link, and href would be £. Now the first 6 link will be visible inside the header middle, so that's why they are special. So I'm gonna attach another class to the first 6 items, but it will not be inside the anchor tag, it will be inside the li. So I will select the first 6 li, and let's attach a class link in middle. I know that's a crappy class name, but that's okay for now. And now I'm just gonna fill up the text inside the anchor tags. You don't have to watch me do this. Alright, so I have added that text. Now let's see what we have. And our nav looks like this, so let's style them. Let's create another file, navigation.css, and obviously I have to attach it. I will copy this line, and instead of header it will be navigation. Let's go to navigation. So let's select the navigation class, navigation. Let's make it position fixed. Top will be 0, right will be 0, because our navigation will be on the right side, and width will be 80%, but the max width will be 35 rem, and height will be 100%. Okay, so we don't see the navigation, maybe because of z index. So z index of 10. Okay, so it was the z index problem. So let's give it a background color of white, and let's give it an overflow of y of scroll, so that we can scroll through our navigation because there is a lot of items. Okay, so now let's select the UL. So navigation UL, let's give it a width of 80%, and let's give it a margin of 0 and auto for left and right to move it to the center. Now let's style the LIs. So I will copy these lines, and after UL we need to select LI. Width will be 100%. We don't need margin. Then padding will be 1.2 rem, and 0 for left and right. Then padding left will be 2 rem. Let's give it a margin to the bottom of 0.5 rem, and cursor will be pointer. Let's give it a border radius of 1.2 rem, and let's give it a background color temporarily red. Okay, so you can see the styles that we have applied to LI. Let's remove it, and now let's style the links. So nav link color would be a hex value. It will be 3933C41, and font weight will be bold. Will be 600, and font size will be 1.5 rem. Okay, so you can see it is looking pretty good, and let's make them capitalize. So text transform capitalize, and also let's add a hover effect. So let's select this one, add the hover selector. Let's add a background color, and the value will be hex value. Type 7 zeros, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then D. Let's hover over the links. You can see the effect, but it's harsh, so let's add transition background color, duration of 0.33 second, and type will be ease. Okay, so now the effect is looking pretty good. Now let's style the cross icon. So let's select close btn container, and we need to move the icon to the right, so text align to right and margin 2 rem for top and bottom, 3 rem for left and right. Let's select the close button. So navigation, close btn will have width of 3 rem and cursor will be pointer. Okay, so the cross icon is looking good. Now we can add the toggle functionality. So the navigation will only be seen if it has a class of isActive. So by default, it will be out of the view. So transform translate x will be 100%. But if the navigation has isActive class, navigation.isActive, transform will be translate x and the value will be 0. Now to add the functionality, we have to use JavaScript. So let's open up the index.js. Let's select the menu button. I will create new lines. So const menu btn will be document.query selector and the value will be .menu btn. Let's select the navigation element. Const navigation will be document.query selector navigation. So const nav close btn will be document.query selector. It had a class. Let's see where it is. Here, so navigation close btn. I will copy this class and let's just paste it here. And let's store the class name isActive in a variable. Const is active and the value will be is dash active. Sorry, dash active. Now let's create a function to toggle the navigation. Const toggle navigation. I will use an arrow function. And inside the function, I'm just gonna toggle the isActive class on the navigation. So navigation dot class list dot toggle, and I'm just gonna pass isActive class. So now let's add event listener to menu button and nav close button. So menu button dot add event listener. We want to listen for click. Actually, we are going to use the click event listener many times. So let's store that in a variable. Click. And I'll remove the string and just pass the click variable. And I will pass the toggle navigation function. And let's just copy this line. Instead of menu button, it will be nav close btn. It's weird. I think there is an error. Let's open up the div tool. Okay, so cannot read property of add event listener of null on line number 14. Nav close button. Oops, I forgot to add that dot. Now it should work. Okay, so no error. And just ignore these two warnings. And let's click on the menu button. And you can see the navigation. Click on the cross icon and it disappears. But that is too harsh. Let's add a transition to it. So navigation.css, and on the navigation, let's add transition. We want to animate transform in 0.5 second. And the animation type will be cubic Bezier. I'm just going to paste the value. So let's click on the menu button And you can see the navigation slides in with an animation and it slides out. That's very cool. Our nav animation is done, but there is another thing. When the navigation is open, the background will be blurred. And if I click on the background, and you can see the navigation slides out. So let's add the blur. It's very easy. So let's go to index.html. And at the top, let's add a element. Let's add a div with class of blur overlay. And let's go to navigation.css. Let's select the blur overlay class, blur overlay, and let's make position fixed and top 0, left 0, width of 100%, height of 100%, z index will be 9, and let's add a background color. Background value will be RGBA. It will be total black, but it will have an opacity of 0.5. Now to blur the element, use backdrop filter, and use the blur function. And you need to pass any measurement value like pixel rem or anything. I'm gonna pass 1 rem. Okay, so you can see the element has been blurred, but we don't want the blur to be shown every time. Let's hide it. So display none, and let's select the blur overlay with isActiveClass, and display will be block. Let's go to index.js file and let's select the overlay, const blur overlay. So document.querySelector, and let's select the class blur __ overlay, and we also need to add the same event listener. I'll copy this line and it will be blur overlay. So let's open up the nav. Oops, I forgot to toggle the active class. So blur overlay dot classlist dot toggle is active. So let's open the nav again. Alright, so you can see the blur, and if I click on it, it fades away. So our right navigation is done. Now we can work on the footer. Now let's work on the footer. The footer will actually live on the last section. So let's go to the last section where it is here. We need to add the footer. So let's add footer with footer class, and there will be an unordered list, and there will be 8 LIs, and every single LI will have an anchor tag. href will be $, and I'm just gonna fill up the text. Okay, so I have filled up links with text, and if I scroll down to the last section, here is our footer links. So let's style them. So I'll create another file, footer.css. Let's go to index.html, and I'll copy this line, and it will be footer.css. So let's select footer. The font color will be black, position will be absolute, z index 100, bottom will be 0, width will be 100%. Let's select the UL inside footer. So footer UL, width of 80%, margin of 2 rem, auto will be for left and right, display flex, justify content, space evenly, and flex wrap will be wrap. Okay, so here is the footer. Now let's select the LIs. I will copy the selector and let's select LIs. Margin will be 0 for top and bottom, left and right 1 rem. Margin top will be 1 rem. Then text transform uppercase, and font weight will be 600. I'm sorry, it will not be uppercase, it will be capitalize. And actually we don't need the color property. Now let's select the links inside the li. I'll copy this line and let's add the color here, and we're going to use the secondary color. So var secondary color, and font size will be 1.2 rem. The color hasn't changed. Oops, I need to add the anchor tag. Okay, so our footer is looking very good. And we are almost done with the web page. The only thing we need to do is now make the web page more responsive. And also we need to take care of the header middle part. Well, that will not be much. So let's make the web page more responsive. And now let's make our website responsive. So I'm just gonna create another file on my CSS directory. I'll call it responsive.css. And let's add that to our index.html. Let's copy this, and it will be responsive.css. Now there will be 4 breakpoints that I'm going to use. You can choose whatever breakpoint you want. My goal is to show you how to make things responsive, not to force you to use certain breakpoints. So the breakpoints I'm going to use is SM, which starts from 600, then MD, which starts from 900 pixels, then LG, which starts from 1200 pixels, and XL, which starts from 1600 pixels. Okay, so I'll comment this out. Now let's work on our SM breakpoint. So let's create a media query, media, then screen, and I'm going to use min width all the time. So min width will be 600 pixels. And obviously I'm gonna increase the browser screen size. Now it is about 800 pixels. So let's first select the section action button. So I will just copy this class. Let's give it a max width of 30 rem. Then padding of 1.5 rem. Then flex spaces of 40%. Now let's separate this 2 button from each other. So select the container. I will copy this class, and let's give it a justify content property of space evenly. Okay, so that's it for our button, and also for the SM screen size. Now let's target the MD screen size. I'll copy this breakpoint. Let's just increase the browser width. Now it is more than 900 pixels, and let's change it to 900 pixels. Let's select this button container. So I will copy this line. Let's change the width to 70% so that it stays close to each other. And let's go to the footer. I want to decrease the footer width. So footer UL width will be 70%. Alright, so now we can work on our LG screen sizes. On LG screen size, we will see our header middle section with these links, and also this other 2 link on our right side. And we haven't implemented anything about the header middle section, so let's quickly do that. It won't be that complicated. So just go to the index.html and go to here, header middle. We need to create some list, and inside every single list there will be an anchor tag with class of header _ nav btn, and href will be again the £. And we will need 6 links. So I'm just gonna fill up all of the links with text. Alright, so I have insert the text on every single link. So let's just go to header.css. No, I'm sorry, just go to responsive.css first. And let's just create another media query. I will copy this line. And let's select the header nav btn class. Header, actually I'll just copy it from HTML. And let's make it display inline block. Now header nav button has a display of none on the header.css. You can see the right link, the header right links and the header middle links has the same classes. So on small screen sizes they are display none. So when the device is more than 1200 pixels, so let's make it 1200 pixels. So if the device size is more than 1200 pixels, then header nav button links are going to be display inline blocks. So we should see links on the middle. We don't see links on the middle, but we are now seeing the links on the right hand side. So let's go to header.css. Oh yes, display is none on the header middle. So let's make it display flex and align items to center to make the items vertically center. And now we should see the links on the middle. Okay, so here are the links in the middle. You can see, but they are not enough spacing between them. So let's add some margin, but only for the middle links. So let's go to the bottom and select header middle. Then the header nav btn. I'll copy this. And let's add margin right of 2 rem. And now they are looking pretty good. So we are done with that. So now let's make our website more responsive. Let's go to responsive.css. And let's select the header left part. So header left. So let's change the padding of the header left. 0 for top and bottom and 2 rem for left and right. And also add some margin to top and bottom 0 and 3 rem for left and right. Okay, so there are more space on our header logo. Now let's select the header right. Header right. And let's give margin auto for top and bottom and 2 rem for left and right. Okay, so more spacing to the header right. Now, like I said, that these links are also available at our right navigation here. We don't need them to be seen on the right navigation if they are present in the header middle. So we can just remove it. And remember, we have attached a class. Let me show you. So we have attached a class called link in middle. So we can just make it display none so that we don't see that on our right navigation. So let's select link in middle. And let's make it display none. Let's open up the right navigation. And you can see there are fewer links than before because these links are not available on our right navigation anymore. Now let's decrease the width of the section action button container to move those 2 buttons more to the center. So I will just copy this line and paste it again. So it will be now 60%. And also let's decrease the size of the footer. So footer, then UL, and width will be 50%. And you can see that buttons are more close to each other. Let's scroll down to the bottom. And also the footer size has been shrinked. And that's it for our LG screen size. Now let's handle the final breakpoint, which is the Excel screen size, and it starts from 1600 pixels. So again, I will copy one of these lines and it will be 1600 pixels. And again, let's decrease the footer width. This time it will be 40%. And also decrease the action container width, and it will be 50%. And that's it. And you can see it is looking good, and the action buttons are now close to each other. You can see it is looking pretty good, and our web page is ready. Actually, I think I missed something. Let's see. Let's scroll. You can see that even our right navigation is open, we still can scroll, but that's not what we want. We want to prevent that, and that is pretty easy to do. All we need to do is just attach a class called noScroll to the full page container, and we need to make sure that our overflow Y is hidden and max height is 100 view height, and that will do the work for us. So we will toggle the noScroll class on the full page element based on the right navigation is open or not. So let's open up the section.css, and on the top, let's select the full page container. So full page, remember it has an ID of full page. So if the full page element has a noScroll class, then we want overflow, not X, Y to be hidden, and max height will be 100 view height. And now let's open up the index.js file. Let's get the full page element. So const full page element. So document.querySelector. Actually, not query selector. Let's use getElement by ID of full page, and we just want to toggle the class on the full page element. So full page element dot class list dot toggle, and the class name is noScroll. So let's see if it works or not. Let's open up the right navigation. Now let's try to scroll. You can't scroll anymore. See, you cannot scroll. It's really working. Another problem, you can see that there are two scroll bars, but we don't want that because I've made a mistake. I have added overflow Y on the navigation. So let's just quickly remove that. Let's open up the navigation CSS, and let's just delete the line. And you can see we don't have the double scroll bars, and that's looking good. So our web page is totally done. I believe you have enjoyed the video and learned something new from it. If the video has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, feel free to drop them on the comment section. If you have any kind of feedback, or if you want me to create a video about any kind of topic, just please let me know in the comment section. And also, like I've said, if you need a new team member who can solve problem, please feel free to contact me. You can contact me on any social media as thatonjohn, and my email is thatonjohn@gmail.com. The links are going to be on the description. So that's it for today. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.